Hello, welcome back to Business Happy Hour. We are back in the office and I'm excited to chat with you guys today. So, today I'm going to take you on a little journey. I've gotten a few questions about what my first offer was and how I put it together, and some of the mindset blocks that I had to kind of get over in terms of putting the offer actually out there as I was creating it, right? So, I'm going to talk you through that and I'm going to tell you a little bit about my first offer. Okay. So, let's rewind back to 2019, and I had not yet become a dietitian. I was still in my dietetic internship, and I decided that I wanted to start my online business for nutrition coaching. Now, at the time, I was like, hey, I can just put some coaching out there. We'll say, hey, maybe I'll give you some worksheets and some coaching calls, and that'll sell great. Right? Obviously, little did I know that would not be the case. And there definitely was some tweaking that needed to be made. So, the way that I like to describe it is that when I was first putting my offer out there, it felt like a craft project. It felt like a craft project in a very unorganized room. And I was just kind of like piecing things together here and there, right? Which led to a few things. And I think there's actually a few reasons it didn't sell the way that I wanted it to. And I want to talk a little bit about that as well. Now, one of the reasons is because when you're piecing something together like a craft project, right? Like you're like, okay, here, like, oh, this person needs this. So I'm going to give them this amount of worksheets and I'm going to give them this many calls and I'm going to give an option for 1 month, 3 months, or 6 months, or 12 months of coaching. And they get overwhelmed and it doesn't sell, right? So not feeling solid in your offer is a big reason that it doesn't sell or you're having trouble selling it, right? Because you're too busy trying to please people with the offer. You're too busy trying to be like, okay, well, it needs to work for this person. Oh, and this person on the discovery call said they wanted this. So let me add this, right? And there's a difference between like taking what people are asking for and what people are saying with a grain of salt and taking it and running with it and like creating a new piece of your offer, your product based on like that one person, right? So that's what I was doing. I was like, oh, this person said she's struggling with binging. Let me add a binging module. Let me oh, I just choked on my old saliva. Hold on, guys. I gotta pause this because my newly just got here. Okay, I'm back. If you guys have been here for a while, you know that I live in the city and my packages will get stolen if I don't run and get them. So my doorbell rang and I've been waiting for this newly package, and I'm going to Montauk this weekend. So still out of breath from running up my stairs. I'm going to Montauk this weekend and I cannot have my clothes be stolen. So I went and got it. Anywho, where were we? So talking about crafting your offer, but crafting it together like a craft project, right? So this is where I was at. I was putting things together here, putting things together there, and there's many reasons again that it might be not selling. Uh, but a huge reason is the more you're trying to piece things together, the more piecemeal and discombobulated your pitch is going to sound when you're on that call. You're going to feel very unsure of yourself. You're going to sound like you have a lack of confidence because you're not really sure what the offer actually even is, right? So say like you're on the call with someone and someone's trying to sell you something. And you're like, all right, we set up an appointment and I'm getting on the phone with them today at 3 on a Zoom. And they are going to they're going to tell me, they're not, you probably wouldn't say like they're going to sell me, but you're probably going to say something like, they said that they could help me with X and they're going to tell me about how they can help me with that, right? Now you get on that call and they are like, Okay, so it sounds like you are really struggling with, I don't know, let's take like I'm just going to use like anxiety. Okay. You're really struggling with anxiety. You feel really anxious anytime that you have to leave your house. You feel really anxious in any social situation. Does that sound right? Yes, that sounds right. Okay, great. All right, great. So it sounds like based on I've done this so many times, it's almost like hard for me to botch it. So I'm trying to be bad here. But it sounds like based on your concerns and what you're looking to do, I think it would be great if we could, I'll give you like 3 or 4 of my worksheets. I have a ton of worksheets, but like let me give you I have like 3 in mind that I think would be good for you. And then what do you think? Like maybe 3 calls? Like would that be good for you? And then typically my calls are around like 100 to $400 each. Like uh, could you make that work? And yeah, how does that sound for you? Like I'm happy to craft like anything that I can really do anything, right? Anything that you want to do together, like we can do that. Like it just creates this lack of trust because this person is looking to you to be like, I know why you're struggling and I know how to fix it. So when you say like, "Oh, yeah, sometimes we do this and sometimes it's that and I can do that. If you want, we can do this." It's not positioning you as an authority. It's like, "Ooh, I don't know. This person doesn't seem to feel very confident that they can get me to feel less anxious." They're kind of like putting things together. It's definitely going to impact sales. It's definitely going to impact your conversion rates, right? So the confidence and the not feeling like you're piecing together a craft project with text message coaching and worksheets and calls and all these different things can be a real game changer. Okay. So that is the first step. I really wish that I had this advice at the time. Right. And at the time, I wasn't really aware that this was a problem. It was, and a little bit's okay. Right. In the beginning, you're kind of trying to figure out what is my messaging? How am I pitching this? Right. But I was working on this for probably about 4 months until I got my first client. Even the calls that I had, I don't think that I had the confidence on those calls. I needed to practice more. I needed to be more sure of my offer, more sure of myself. And sometimes you got to fake it a little bit. You got to act a little bit in the beginning even if you don't have the confidence because it can be a challenge to be like, "Hey, I'm supposed to have all this confidence in this offer and I haven't gotten anybody a transformation yet because it's a brand new offer." Right? So it can be hard, but I know that you can get them results. You know that you can get them results. And even if you have to tweak the offer when they're actually in it, if you can give yourself that flexibility, maybe that will help. That's what I did, where I created this program and I was like, here's how I'm going to pitch it. And here's the result they're going to get. But I trust myself as a practitioner to shift this if needed and giving myself that flexibility of like, okay, it doesn't have to go step 1 through 10 in the perfect order. And the way that I actually pitched it, it was like, here's the structure, and here's how I see you going through this structure. So I have this kind of like, I would say, like, I'm not going to lie to you. This is the cookie cutter structure, right? But the benefit of one on one coaching is we go through this structure together and I am responsible for guiding you through what and where you should focus your time in order to feel that this structure is actually getting you to desire, whatever their desire is or whatever the solution is. So see the difference, right? You can still have that flexibility. You can still have the customization, but have an overall way that you pitch it because you're going to have to think so much less on the spot than if you are just like, all right, we're just going to go in and we're going to try and match whatever their problems are and try and come up with an offer for them. It's going to be a lot more challenging. It's going to feel a lot more disorganized. They are going to feel less like you have the solution for them. and your conversion rates are going to ultimately be lower. Now, this is one of the things that I help you with in Irresistible Offer Incubator. This is my self-paced course. It is one of my favorite offers because genuinely I take myself through this offer anytime I create an offer. It is that good. It is from start to finish everything that you need to plan, prep, create the curriculum, create your pitch for the offer. It is all inside here. And you guys know that I take the path of least resistance. There is no fluff. There's 4 trainings that are every single thing that you need to know to create and start to market and sell this offer. No BS. Okay. So you will create an offer and it's going to have people running to pay you because it is so tempting and attractive and juicy AF. Okay. So recapping on when I first put together my offer, the biggest thing that I wish I didn't do is try and piecemeal together different pieces or services and have a solid pitch. So I'm going to literally tell you exactly how my pitch went. Okay. So we would essentially get to the end of the call and I'd have my whole template of my discovery call and exactly what I would say on calls. And I converted like a fucking cheetah. Like I was a great person on these sales calls. Okay. I knew how to connect their problems with how I would solve them. I mean, it was epic. Okay. So I didn't have a problem with that. What I did is first, I made that template that I was talking to you about. Like, that's just the outline essentially of the program. But I didn't say, hey, it's a 12-week program. This is what we'll do in week 1. This is week 2. This is week 3. This is week 4. Blah, 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 blah. I came up with a method, my Empower method in my nutrition business. And there were 4 pillars. Now, the first pillar was mindset. Second pillar was, oh my gosh, guys, it's been so long. Hunger and fullness. Yes, hunger and fullness and listening to your body. Third was nutrition. And fourth was body image. Okay. So after working with some people and finally getting my process in place, this is what I created. And essentially, it was the majority of the people that I worked with, most of them took this trajectory where I felt that mindset was most important. And then listening to your body and understanding how to do so, nutrition and body image. The way that I explained it was this isn't a set path. These are the pillars of the program. These are the things we're going to work on. And each of those pillars, I would explain based on what they told me. So let's just take this person, right? And let's say that she is someone who is really struggling with food guilt. She tells me that she pretty much labels all of her food as either good or bad, healthy or unhealthy, and the bad ones and the unhealthy ones she can't eat. Or at least she can't eat without like being sent into a spiral, right? And then she tells me every time I look in the mirror, I'm picking my body apart. Every time I, try to go out to dinner, I can't enjoy myself. I don't feel present, yada, yada, yada. Okay. So then we get to the end of the call and I'm like, okay, great. You sound like a great fit. I would love to invite you into the Empower Academy. Do you want me to tell you a little bit more about it? Yeah. Okay, great. So the way that it's set up and the way that I've created this program is based on my 4 pillars. They are mindset, nutrition, listen to your body, and body image. Now, here's how I foresee you utilizing these pillars. First, we'll deal with the mindset aspect. So what typically happens is I know that you mentioned a lot of food guilt and spiraling based on the labels that you've given food, right? You have you mentioned that anytime that you have an Oreo, it immediately spirals into I've been so bad, I need to go to the gym, blah blah blah. At the end of the day, this all comes down to how you think about food. So, the actual thought process, this is the root of all of the struggle that you're currently experiencing, is the way you think about it. So, that is the first thing that we're going to tackle. And I like to think of it as like, when you're pulling a plant out of the ground and you're taking those roots and you're pulling them up and out. That is what we are going to do because everything you think about food has been a learned behavior. You were not born thinking about Oreos this way. So, in the mindset pillar, that's what I'm going to help you do so that you can plant new seeds and think about food in an entirely new way, which will allow you to insert whatever she said she wants in her dream life or her dream scenario with food in her body. Okay. Now, in the next section, the next pillar, this is where we start talking about your body cues, listening to your body, blah, blah, blah. And again, I would kind of pull in something that she said, and I would insert something that we are going to do together that's going to allow us to get to that solution or place that she ultimately wants to be. So you see how it's kind of like a little bridge. There's the place where she is that she's struggling with. There's the place that she wants to be. And then the bridge in between is where I come in. What am I placing in between what she is currently experiencing and the solution? What is that bridge? It might be, in this instance, it would be that particular pillar. So sometimes you can also, I used to do this as well, where I would write down any like pain or struggle they had. I would just write it down and I would put a quick little arrow and I'd be like, oh, okay, nutrition pillar. Oh, okay, listen to your body pillar. And then I would know exactly what to talk about. Okay. And then lastly, you would get to body image and nutrition and all these things. Okay, you get the point. So at the end of the day, don't treat your offer like a craft project. Don't treat your offer like, "Hey, I'm just gonna, like, piece things together and see how it goes," because it's not going to seem or feel legit enough to you or to your people, and it's going to be much harder to sell. So if you wanna feel so confident that your offer is actually solid, you know how to talk about it, you want to create that irresistible offer that actually makes you stand out in your field and actually showcases your expertise and your genius, then Irresistible Offer Incubator is an incredible place for you to be. You can DM me incubator and I will send you all of the details, and all of the details will also be inside of the show notes of this episode. And I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.